A fatal incident in space history, Space Shuttle Columbia disaster and recovery of debris. Welcome to our here blogger Lakshmi Narayan. Please subscribe to this channel if you are new to here. The Space Shuttle Columbia disaster was a fatal incident in the United States space program that occurred on 1st February 2003. When the Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated as it re-entered the atmosphere, killing all 7 crew members. The disaster was the second of 2 fatal accidents in the Space Shuttle program after the 1986 breakup of Challenger soon after liftoff. During the STS-107 launch, a piece of the insulative foam broke off from the Space Shuttle external tank and struck the thermal protection system tiles on the orbiter's left wing. Similar foam shading had occurred during previous Space Shuttle launches, causing damage that ranged from minor to nearly catastrophic. But some engineers suspected that the damage to Columbia was more serious. Before re-entry, NASA managers had limited the investigation, reasoning that the crew could not have fixed the problem if it had been confirmed. When Columbia re-entered the atmosphere of Earth, the damage allowed hot atmospheric gases to penetrate the heat shield and destroy the internal wing structure, which caused the orbiter to become unstable and break apart. After the disaster, Space Shuttle flight operations were suspended for more than 2 years, as they had been after the Challenger disaster. Construction of the International Space Station was paused until flights resumed in July 2005 with STS-114. NASA made several technical and organizational changes to subsequent missions, including adding an on-orbit inspection to determine how well the orbiter's thermal protection system had endured the ascent, and keeping a designated rescue mission ready in case irreparable damage was found, except for one mission to repair the Hubble Space Telescope. Subsequent Space Shuttle missions were flown only to the ISS to allow the crew to use it as a haven if damage to the orbiter prevented safe re-entry. After the orbiter broke up, reports came into eastern Texas law enforcement offices of an explosion and falling debris. Astronauts Mark Kelly and Gregory Johnson traveled on a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter from Houston to the Nacogdoches, and Jim Weatherby drove a team of astronauts to Lufkin to assist with recovery efforts. Debris was reported from East Texas through southern Louisiana. Recovery crews and local volunteers worked to locate and identify debris. On the first day of the disaster, searchers began finding remains of the astronauts. Within 3 days of the crash, some remains from every crew member had been recovered. These recoveries occurred along a line south of Hemphill, Texas, and west of the Toledo Bend Reservoir. The final body of a crew member was recovered on 11th February. The crew remains were transported for the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology at Dover Air Force Base. Immediately after the disaster, the Texas Army National Guard deployed 300 members to assist with security and recovery, and the Coast Guard Gulf Strike Team was assigned to help recover hazardous debris. Over the coming days, the search grew to include hundreds of individuals from the Environmental Protection Agency, U.S. Forestry Service, and Texas and Louisiana public safety organizations, as well as local volunteers. In the months after the disaster, the largest ever organized ground search took place. NASA officials warned of the dangers of handling debris, as it could have been contaminated by propellants. Columbia's flight data recorder was found near Hemphill, Texas, On 19th March 2003, Columbia was the first orbiter, and it had a unique flight data orbiter experiments recorder to record vehicle performance data during the test flights. The recorder was left in Columbia after the initial shuttle test flights were completed and began recording information 15 minutes prior to re-entry. The tape it recorded to was broken at the time of the crash, but information from the orbiter's sensors could have been recorded prior to then. Several days later, the tape was sent to the Emission Corporation for it to be inspected and cleaned. On 25th March, the orbiter experiments tape was sent to KSC, where it was copied and analyzed. A group of Cenerhabditis elegans worms, enclosed in aluminum canisters, survived re-entry and impact with the ground and were recovered weeks after the disaster. The culture was found to be alive on 28 April 2003. NASA management selected the reusable launch vehicle hangar at the KSC to reconstruct recovered Columbia debris. NASA launch director Michael Lanebach led the reconstruction team, which was staffed by Columbia engineers and technicians. Debris was laid out on the floor of the hangar in the shape of the orbiter to allow investigators to look for patterns in the damage that indicated the cause of the disaster. Astronaut Pamela Melroy was assigned to oversee the 6-person team reconstructing the crew compartment, which included fellow astronaut Marsha Ivins. Recovered debris was shipped from the field to KSC, where it was unloaded and checked to see if it was any contamination from toxic hypergolic propellants. Each piece of debris had an identifying number and a tag indicating the coordinates where it was found. Staff attached, photographed, and catalogued each piece of debris. Recovered debris from inside of the orbiter was placed in a separate area, as it was not considered to be a contributor to the accident. NASA conducted a fault tree analysis to determine the probable causes of the accident, and focused its investigations on the parts of the orbiter most likely to have been responsible for the in-flight breakup. Engineers in the hangar analyzed the debris to determine how the orbiter came apart. Even though the crew compartment was not considered as a likely cause of the accident, Melroy successfully argued for its analysis to learn more about how its safety systems helped or failed to help the crew survive. The tiles on the left wing were studied to determine the nature of the burning and melting that occurred. The damage to the debris indicated that the breach began at the wing's leading edge, allowing hot gas to get past the orbiter's thermal protection system. In July 2011, lower water levels caused by a drought revealed a 4-foot diameter piece of debris in a lake. NASA identified the piece as a power reactant storage and distribution tank. The search for Columbia debris ended in May. Approximately 83,900 pieces of debris were recovered, weighing 38,500 kilograms, which was about 38% of the orbiter's overall weight. About 40,000 recovered pieces of debris have ever been identified. All recovered non-human Columbia debris is stored in unused office space at the Vehicle Assembly Building, except for parts of the crew compartment, which are kept separate.